You're now listening to the Something Good Podcast Network. Please press any key to continue.
Fifth wheel fucking draw.
Yeah.
That's the
Kind of sounds like Droopy Dog if somebody from New Jersey.
perpendicular to the square.
Yeah.
Now you just sound like
Hard
Brian
up like
Quinn.
Flair. Exactly. Well, they're both from Staten Island.
Oh my god, and on that note, welcome to this week's edition of the Couch Bro Tatoes. I'm Alex.
This is Cap.
Morris.
And this week we're going to be diving back into The Boys.
Yeah, it does not let up. If you're doing this kind of retrospective with us and are kind of getting into The
so much
Boys,
fucking worse.
it does not let up from the first season at all. You think there's going to be a little...
To quote Cap on every new episode, Jesus.
Well, like, I'm saying out loud, even like through every episode, just going, this fucking show.
No, because Paul, he was saying in the Discord that he felt like season 2 kind of drug on a little bit. Not for me. Maybe because I watched it just in a like a clip in one day, and I didn't have, because apparently they were doing The Boys like they're doing WandaVision. They were doing one episode a week. They didn't drop it all.
Right.
So I could see maybe having to watch it week after week and only getting a slow drip for some episodes. I could see that being maybe a little bit more tedious. But for me, that basically like binge watch 2 seasons in a weekend.
Yeah, this is kind of the show where it's so dark. It's one of those deals where it's like you got to see how it pays off, and it's kind of like better that way if you're, well, at least to me, or maybe somebody like Paul who's just watching it, just to consume something. And if I'm going to watch something that dark, I just want to know what's happening all at once, because fuck all these characters.
Like seriously, because I did not intend on binging the entire second season, and basically in an entire day. But like I got to the end of season 1, and it was when Homelander, drops Butcher off in the yard, and hey, I've got a kid. Hey, your fucking wife, girlfriend is still alive. After I saw that, like literally, I said out loud to myself with no one else in the room, I was like, well, I gotta know what happens now.
Yeah.
So like just literally at that point, I'm like, well, I guess I'm starting season 2 now.
That's essentially how it starts too, with the big ride, the very first episode of season 2.
Yeah, because at this point, the boys are wanted fugitives, and Butcher framed for Stillwell's murder, and hiding together. Hughie, Eminem, Frenchie, and Camino are all kind of hanging out, and I like the intro bit because it felt very reminiscent to one of the intro pieces from season 1.
Yeah.
It showed Butcher kind of getting up, in his, empty ass apartment, and kind of just slugging along, getting to his crew. And this one, Hughie now lives underground with everyone, and it felt kind of like a mirror image of, hey, he's trying to take over the Butcher role.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting because in the previous season, all we could do was laugh about how whiny he seemed and unprepared he seemed for this entire fucking thing.
Just because, basically, happenstance, he is the new Butcher.
Yeah.
For a little while.
Because the Butcher, you find out it's Butcher dipped.
Yeah. But even that, in the beginning, it's like, you're a fugitive because not only were you framed for one murder, but you legitimately killed a superhero, you piece of shit. Like, you killed. Granted, he might be a sexist piece of shit.
Yeah.
But you blew him the fuck up.
Murder's still murder.
It's like, you are the enemy now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you find out within a few scenes that Starlight has completely fallen into her place, quote unquote. She's hyping up every little thing. She's all smiles at all press.
Oh, she's got to be.
She's pretty. She's the Christian rock.
Yeah, she's got to be
rep for the superheroes.
Yeah, she's leaning into it
because like last season, she kind of surged some cracks in that whole Christian festival thing, and everybody was like, "Ooh, you're fucking up the image, bitch." Thank God Homelander was there to make everyone see God.
Yeah, and they played that up a lot this season too. They really lean into the I am God character.
I love
this
Homelander.
season.
I love Homelander in this though because he became my favorite character for season 2, just because of the downward spiral and the uptick he has.
Honestly, I'd agree because
It's my favorite performance.
why is it? Well, it feels like it might be an easy answer, but at the same time, why is it that villains seem to always be written better and more complex than our main characters?
Because it'll have restrictions.
Yeah.
A villain, anytime, like I learned this in school when writing fictional stories and stuff. Your protagonist has a set of morals, that are hardlined. Your villain can have flexible morals.
Yeah,
their reasons can change. The Dr. Freeze, Victor Freeze, straight moral code. He was a doctor. He wanted to fix his wife. He bent his moral code and his ethics to do nasty shit to get his job done.
Yeah,
kind of like why, that's why we really like seeing Batman go nuts.
Yeah,
or seeing Superman go nuts. It's like because
especially Superman, because I would say he has a stronger moral code than Batman.
Yeah, but like there is no more strings, like this because there's
no strings on me. Sorry, wrong universe.
But first of all, that is a creepy fucking saying in that movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Other Disney quotes said by fucking James Spader as Ultron is still creepy as shit.
I watched that the other night, actually.
But it's just so like you root for the villain because that's deep down that's what we all want to do. Not saying like we all want to kill or not that
we're saying we want to be Homelander,
but we want to be free without moral restraints.
I think performers and actors get a kick more out of playing a villain or a bad guy or a heel, if you will, too.
Like parents, when their kids hit their like mid-teenage years, they can't do a lot of they're not allowed to do stuff, especially when they're infants and stuff. You're really restricted on what you got to do, and sometimes you just want to break free of that shit. And that's what's appealing about villains.
And a character like Homelander, who can do basically whatever he wants, has no fucking limits or has no line that.
And
that
the thing about
crossed.
Homelander is you can't stop him.
Exactly, and he knows it.
And that's the scary part.
And the thing I was going to say, kind of agreeing with you, Chris, about Homelander kind of turning into even my favorite character in season 2 is because in no way does he redeem himself for being a piece of shit. But you do learn why he's a piece of shit and how many layers he has to why he's such a bad person now. He was truly an example of nurture versus nature. Yeah, it's like he was nurtured into the psychopath he is today.
Exactly.
I see it. I see he does have one redeeming quality which shows up around the second to last episode, but I think that redeems him like. In my eyes, more than anything. Yeah, we'll get to it. But, but yeah, I think he's my favorite character. Him and Butcher, because Butcher is the same way. The only thing Butcher has a problem with, he can get shot in the fucking hit.
No, I was really gonna say, Butcher was definitely my favorite character in season 1, but by season 2, it was closely tied, if not Homelander, a little bit more.
They're both the same. They're both the same. They're envious of each other, kind of.
And they have
in season 1,
and they both have lines that they don't have any lines anymore. At least Butcher doesn't have any lines anymore either, outside of his family.
Yeah, but like the whole thing about season 1 was Homelander and Butcher. They're the exact same person to a T. The only one is, and they admire each other. I think.
I think there is a little bit of that mutual respect shit.
Like Butcher knows he can't beat him. Yeah, toe to toe. But I think. We see it in season 2 a little bit, but Homelander seeing Butcher from afar and being like, "You brazen motherfucker!"
Yeah, the balls on this guy.
Yeah, kind of like the Thanos Iron Man thing. Yeah. Oh, you cut me. Oh, fuck yeah, bro. God, I'm going to rip you by the atom. But I hope they build a statue to you, motherfucker. Good on you.
No, and that,
no one makes me bleed my own blood.
Yeah, exactly. And to kind of lead into even more what you're saying, Chris, I feel like Homelander could have easily killed Butcher at any time he wanted.
Yeah, he's not going to. That's kind of like the Lex Luthor Batman thing. Or the Joker. I can kill him anytime. Or Joker. Yeah. I'd kill the Joker any fucking time. I could rip his goddamn heart out. That's how Superman said he called him a bitch. Yeah. And like Superman's
literally all that would have to happen, and we've seen it happen with Homelander, is literally Butcher has to turn around, show up, just turn around and be like, "You again."
Zip.
Yeah, and then laser. It's like done.
Yeah. Quote fucking episode 1. I will laser all of you.
And then the Deep joins, finds Jesus or whatever, or Scientology or whatever the Church of the Collective is.
Yeah, he's basically part of the Borg now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting. It immediately had that Scientology feel with like the fresca. It's like, what the fuck? They never explained the fresca thing.
Fresca, it's a. I know what it is. It's an element thing from most cults.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like Jim Jones had the Kool-Aid.
Oh, it's the conditioning thing.
No, it's not just conditioning. It is that one special thing you're allowed to have, like Heaven's Gate. What they do before
Careful with this microphone cable.
What they do before they off themselves? They eat chicken pot pie.
Yeah.
That was their fresca.
That was their last dinner before transcending into fucking heaven with Space Jesus.
Yeah, and their Nike Airs.
Yes.
But like it's a kind of a conditioning thing. It's you've done good, here's a fresca, or you done good, here's a chicken pot pie, or here's your Kool-Aid, blah blah blah. Because it's not a thing you're not going to have all the time. Mm-hmm. And once you're conditioned to know that you're never going to have it again, when I say here it is, there it is.
And I like how they
it's scary because how simple people are. Like this could happen to us.
Yeah.
To a point. Because they do it with prisoners. They do it with prisoners. They condition them to eat certain foods, and then it's like, oh hey, I got a steak. Oh cool, you're giving me a steak. What for? We're going to murder you. That's why. Like,
especially in some states where they don't tell you, or some countries where they don't tell you where
Japan don't tell you when you get
where they're going to kill you.
Yeah, which is fucking awesome.
Oh, and,
sorry, back to the boys.
Oh no, you're good. It all ties in. It all ties in.
That's how I would do it in Japan. I would give them a fresca and kill them, and then everybody's like, why are you giving me a fresca? This weird citrus soda that tastes like shit.
Here you go, Shimrikyo.
And R.I.P. to Raynor.
Yeah.
In this show, because I loved her character. I was hoping to see more from her. But dude, within the first fucking 10 minutes of the episode trying to get her a sample of the Compound V, boom!
Yeah.
Fucking gone.
Yeah.
Raynor was the
she was part of the CIA, wasn't she? She was the CIA girl.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah.
I thought she was Cuddy from House at first, but I was wrong.
She was in that movie Crash. She's a TV actor.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was really hoping
from House.
I
was really hoping to see more from her, and then it was like, bam! It's like, well,
her head explodes just violently too.
Yes, which we find out a lot more of that near the end. Which I actually had to watch that episode a second time to fully get what happened.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah. R.I.P. to her. I was hoping we'd see a little bit more. And at this point, Frenchie winds up reaching back out to Butcher because he's not feeling like
he's not getting it done quick enough or whatever, or doesn't have
Hughie. Hughie doesn't have the balls or anything.
Yeah,
he's not getting. He doesn't have control of his crew.
Yeah, of course he does it because he's a year in from murdering someone.
Yeah.
And
he's like a weird time jump.
And the whole thing, he's probably only killed including directly killed and accomplice killed, probably 4 people.
I was literally gonna say 4. Yeah.
Yeah. The worst thing he's ever done was gaslight Popclaw, and then she fucking died.
And again, none of these characters have any redeeming qualities.
No, the only one I think
Even
has
the
a redeeming quality is Kamiko.
Yeah, because she really didn't have any sort of motives other than I've been
free.
fucked up.
I'm free, and I'm free.
Yeah.
I'm no longer in a motherfucking box eating cereal. And dude, I love her character so much because she is just like she's like a pit bull. Mm-hmm. Great with Frenchie, Eminem, all that. Great, and then you take that goddamn collar off, man. You take that fucking collar off.
Wrong fucking person, man.
It's like the real Scooby-Doo gang. I'm ripping his mask off.
But then we find out that there are not only super heroes, but super terrorists and shit like that.
Yeah, who last like 5 fucking seconds.
Yeah. That's kind of what happens in the next episode where they find Kamiko's brother.
Yes. Yeah. Episode 2, Proper Preparation and Planning, in which Butcher arranges a deal with Mallory to capture the superpowered terrorist in exchange for Mallory finding Becca's location.
Yeah.
Because at this point, and that's the reason I wanted to watch episode 1, is I'm sitting here going, they're going to pick up where they were on the yard, yada, yada. They didn't touch that shit at
No.
all in
Nope.
episode 1. And I'm like, you bastards. This is why I'm up at 2 o'clock in the morning watching this, thinking I'm going to get some sort of resolve. Now I have to watch another one.
And we also kind of see like the super terrorist or whatever. Mm-hmm. They're marketing him. They're marketing. They got to market him because he is a representative of that.
The evil.
The big bad.
Yes.
And I love the nerdy guy. He's like, they're just trying to figure out fucking names. And it just reminded me of like the other day we was doing the gaming podcast, trying to figure out names and stuff. And it's just like, oh, we got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's like, fuck, that's exactly what they did. They just workshopped a bunch of bullshit.
It also reminds... No, go ahead.
I was going to say that's exactly what they what Homelander does. I don't know if it's this episode or later on, where he's just like, no, super villains to market us as superheroes.
Yeah.
We need adversaries. This is good for everybody.
Yeah, and like in a few episodes later, they even like test product it, and they're like, so which seems more fearful to you? A hero threat, a villain, and then Homelander clicks a button. He's like, super villain.
Yeah. So our terrorists? No. Super villain.
But it kind of plays on the whole, our perception of heroes and villains. Mm-hmm. What made him a villain? The super villain guy that we met in season 1 at the tail end. What made him a villain? Other than he got some compound V and got powers.
He became a villain because everybody
probably the promise of power and money and whatever else. The whole reason why any terrorist does things.
When you see the word terrorist, all right, and this might piss a few people off, but one man's terrorist is another man's patriot. So over there,
I wouldn't say that would piss anyone off. I mean,
but he's not the villain over there.
Yeah,
he's the fucking Homelander over there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the super villain came over and killed him. Now imagine seeing that in real life. Like now, imagine if we did have that. Mm-hmm. People got upset when they killed Optimus Prime in the fucking 80s. Okay, and that was a cartoon. So just imagine that being a thing, and it being cut down in front of you.
Yeah,
just the morale just shot out of the room. And I watched that scene where he's with those soldiers. It's episode 2, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, where he's with those soldiers and he's just chilling like, no,
You're the real heroes.
And he's like, yeah, just stay here, chill. And I'm just like, fuck.
He's about to fuck this dude up.
And he does that accidental superpower bullshit, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
My bad.
You could argue again that outline of making people mad. You can make that argument that's an allegory for how we treat foreign affairs with countries that we're at war with, or the U.S. is at war with, or any warring country.
Yeah.
Things like that.
It's like the cosmonauts and the fucking astronauts. Those guys are going up in space. It's like, oh man, we're going to space for Russia, and I'm going to space for America, motherfucker.
Right.
I'm bringing guns and chicken.
And one of the other, I remember watching. I think I came downstairs to like grab some food or something when Cap was watching this episode.
And you just hear Cap on the wind. Jesus Christ!
This was one of his Jesus Christ moments. Right here it says, "Drugged by the Church of the Collective, the Deep hallucinates his gills, encouraging him to value himself." Voiced by.
Oh fuck!
Was it Seth Rogen?
No, I can't remember. Go ahead.
What's his head? That's also doing MODOK.
Oh.
Patton something.
Patton Oswalt.
Yeah, Patton Oswalt. That's the voice of the fucking gills. Hey, buddy.
I would love to see Patton Oswalt come in to play like a slow-mo or turtle character who could slow time. I would love to see him in this, just so he could be in it, and that's his lame ass super.
Technically he is in it now. Does the hallucination voice? But no, I remember being in the kitchen or like walking back through, and I like catch a look at him, and he's like kind of like curled up on the couch. He's like, we've got like just a community blanket on the couch. He's like got it, kind of like holding it, like kind of like snuggling it, almost like with this what the fuck look on his face. And I'm like, you good? He goes, this show's fucking weird.
And that's not the weirdest thing that happens to the Deep in this season.
Oh,
no, it's not.
Well, when he rides the whale, the whale gets destroyed.
I'm not even talking about that.
I know.
But yeah, it's just kind of like the whole season's about his quote unquote redemption.
Yeah.
At the same time, and they make up all kinds of like weird things that you can do with gills if you're a person.
Yeah. When a girl plays 10 knuckle shuffle with his gills.
Yeah, I think that happened earlier in the episode.
Was it on this one, or I couldn't remember if this was later on?
he meets that
actually, I think that happened in the first episode.
Yeah, he meets the super fan.
Yeah, I think he meets her in the first episode.
And she's like, I want to see him. And,
and then she like
okay.
jamming her fucking fingers in it. It's
And
like,
he's clearly in pain, but she's like getting off on it.
Yeah, you like that bitch? It's like, that's what it feels like.
Interesting little swap allegory too.
That was very well done because Garth Ennis, I think the guy who does Preacher, was talking about that. He's like, no, you gotta show the villain like how bad these motherfuckers can get, but they also have to get their comeuppance at the end.
Exactly,
and that's why he did that.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting to see the comeuppance for Homelander. We get a little bit of that later on, but we'll get to that.
Season 3, you'll probably get that.
I don't know. I'll go ahead and like jump to the end now because again, if you're listening to this, you've probably watched this. You've probably already watched season 2 already. If not, why are you listening to this? But in my opinion, my slightly narcissistic opinion, if you're able to jack off into the city below you, you still win. If you're able to fly up, if I was able to fly to the top of Charlotte, North Carolina skyline,
just rub one out
just
with the moon behind you,
right on the truest side.
Yes, I don't care what the fuck happened. I win.
But it's still fuck. But that moment still fucks with him though.
It does, but still, it
doesn't mean anything.
I still love.
That's what makes Spider-Man a winner.
Because he can do that.
And he's a fucking teenager. He does it all the time.
Shooting webs.
That's just webs, bro.
Yeah.
Gross.
And this is also the episode where A-Train threatens to expose Annie's involvement with the boys. But that's when she also finds out and she lets him know about his involvement with the death of Popclaw, which is a pretty fun dynamic throughout the whole season. Is the two of them having info on each other.
Was this the one where they had to fight?
No,
this is when he was waking up from the coma.
Oh yeah, okay. This is where the point where I would have murdered him.
Yeah,
like it just take as much electricity and shove it down his throat because he's such a piece of shit.
Yeah,
he used to be redeemable to a point. But then he just
kill people,
just murdered people.
Yeah,
indiscriminately.
Yeah,
and man, I was glad he got.
I forget why was he in a coma in the first place.
He took too much of that shit
of the V. Yeah,
was that in season 1? I thought that was. Okay, I couldn't remember.
And then came back.
That's right. For some reason, I thought that was season 2 that he OD'd.
Yeah. No, at the end of season 1, they kind of...
Is he crippled in the end of that one, or is he crippled in this season?
He's crippled mostly in this season.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he's coming too. And
that's
what you should have got him. Like, that was the best time to get him.
That's right. It's been a minute since I watched this season.
That was the best time to get him. Because, kind of like Frenchie, you're watching the show and you're like, how would I stop that motherfucker?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're sitting there like, well, I can't load him full of Quaaludes and LSD, so... or a hot shot of with a thing of cocaine and fucking DMT.
I just love when he's like, I can't remember if this episode later on where he goes in the store on crutches and everybody's like, fuck you.
I think that's the next episode.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But no, and the last little thing that happens in this one, episode 2 is a little bit more eventful than episode 1. And episode 2 is when Homelander does return back home to Becca and tries making himself a little bit more of a fatherly presence in the life of the two of them, and Becca ain't having it.
It becomes kind of like a joke with him and his son a lot of times.
Yeah,
he's like, come on, we're gonna learn how to fly today, and it just turns into like a shitty version of a dad just trying to teach his kid how to ride a bike.
Yeah,
and just like rips off the fucking pedals and is like, ride, motherfucker.
and
you will learn.
And the reason I wanted to touch on that one is I feel like this is one of those morality layers that you partly understand why Homelander is the way he is, because throughout the season you also find out he is essentially a test tube baby. He lived his life, the entire time, in doctors' rooms and test facilities. So he never had an actual father. His whole backstory is made up. I think the blanket scene happened in the beginning of this episode, and that was like the one thing he had in the facility was that blanket, and that's why he was like, what the fuck is this doing here? It's the one weird mental trigger he had. And now him trying to be that for his actual son, bad way of getting him or not, but either way, it's still his own flesh and blood, weirdly enough.
Yeah, he still has an attachment because that is him. That's the narcissistic thing of like, this is my offspring.
And he wants to try to be that father he never had.
Exactly.
So it's like, that's what kind of gives him that slight bit of weird morality layer that explains part of his weird personality
still-
and God complex he has now.
I still attribute to that God complex where it's like, this is like the future is me. Here is like, this kid is part of me, and he's going to be just as strong and powerful. We're going to rule the universe together, or whatever his goal
but
is.
that can always be so one-dimensional. Darth Vader.
That's
you know,
true.
That's Darth Vader.
I just saw it more as like, the whole like picking him up out in the air and dropping him.
Yeah.
I see that more or less like him trying to do what he thinks what a father would do.
Yes.
Because he has no idea
what a super father would do.
Yeah, because it's no different from like you hear stories of like our parents when they were kids. It's like, oh, how'd you learn to swim? My fucking parent threw me in the goddamn water.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I heard that shit all the time.
Yeah, but
that nearly happened to me.
And that happens to a lot of kids now. But that's just what they know. And I think he probably saw that as the best way to teach that, because probably when he was in that lab, they probably strapped his ass to a fucking skyscraper and dropped his ass and see what would happen.
Yep. Absolutely.
The whole laser scene with his eyes. He's like, "Come on now." He's hold his head, and just how fucking rough that would be. Because if he fucks up, he could hurt him.
Yeah.
Because I think that kid is on par with him.
Oddly enough, yeah, we see that near
Like
the end.
he's little.
Yeah.
Like, he's a little kid. Like he's probably 10 years old, 8.
Yeah, I'd say maybe.
Yeah, as we
But
find,
like it won't be long.
No.
10 years.
as we find
10
out,
years,
he kind of
12 years. He'll be.
Oh, hell, fuck, look at Spider-Man. He was in high school.
He'll be in his fucking physical prime, man.
I mean, as we find out later on in the season, that he kind of,
Fuck the world when that happens.
you make him mad enough, he'll fucking fight back.
Angsty super kid.
Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
I just want to listen to my fucking songs.
Shitty teenager Superman.
Manson.
Let's laser some poor fucker.
Hey, Dad, fuck being a superhero.
I would be a super villain.
Yeah.
My boy.
Like my real dad. He's like, "What did you say?" Bah. It just like
Nothing.
Throws a house instead of slamming the door. He just shuts the house. Boom. Fuck you.
I'm gonna get my superheroes removed, Dad. Fuck you.
You go to your fortress.
And actually, us having this conversation perfectly ties into episode 3. First sentence here: Homelander pushes Ryan into using his powers, which accumulates in Ryan attacking Homelander to protect Becca.
Yeah. He's just like, fuck you, Dad. I got eyes. I got laser eyes too.
Yeah, we see him use his powers twice in this season. Once now, and
then later
then
on.
at the very end when he goes like Super Saiyan, essentially.
Yeah.
This is also when Stormfront shows up, right?
Let us see here.
It is.
Okay. Yep. And disobeying Homelander's orders, Stormfront kills Kenji, which was Kamiko's brother.
Yeah.
During this whole rundown scene.
Yeah.
So,
That
was rough.
so it's like, at first, again, this show is perfect for setting up characters to be like, hell yeah, and then fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, Stormfront shows up, and I'm like, okay, we've got like this cool punk rock kind of superhero that's like totally done with everyone's bullshit. And I'm like, okay.
And she even shit talks Homelander.
Yeah, and I'm like, all right, I'm all right. I think I like Stormfront. I think I've got a new favorite character. And then, like, literally 5 minutes later, you find out like she's a Nazi and she's fucking killing everyone, and you're like, God fucking damn it!
I love Stormfront so much because she breaks out a lot of truth about what it means to be someone like that.
Yeah,
Not a superhero, but someone like that.
yeah,
She's like one of the things she says is, no one has a problem with the fuck I'm saying. They love it. But once you tack on the word Nazi, then they hate it.
yeah.
That means if you just take it away for a little bit, they'll be down for fascism and no problem. That's still like that's true.
The whole show's a commentary.
We saw a tiny segment of it over the last few years.
Yeah.
and even now, like
The whole show's commentary on that kind of mindset.
we're talking about The Boys, which is a political comedy, so we're going to have to
So we
go
have
down
to.
go down that road. But that's what that shit is.
It is.
Left or right, authoritarianism is easy to get behind because it's an absolute solution. And
Pardon the phrase.
not the final, but
Not that other solution.
not the other solution. Like I said, if you had the word Nazi, everybody
See,
gets
Chris,
a
you
little
just got to
finicky.
change it a little bit.
I'm just gonna change it just a little.
But before we find out about how
Mr.
Stormfront,
Potato Head, motherfucker.
It's Potato Head, motherfucker.
It's CFC Plastic Man.
But yeah, before we find out she's a Nazi, she's like talking shit to everybody and even talks Homelander down. And even Homelander's like, who the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And actually kind of like
And
her
there's,
because
like-
she's talking shit to me and
And
yada
there's
yada.
little Easter eggs throughout that you'll notice. Like when she's sitting there talking with. Oh, sorry.
No. I'm giving you. I was trying to help you because I don't want to interrupt you.
No, she was talking to that girl.
I was talking. You talking about A-Train.
with
No, go ahead and say A-Trains because his is pretty funny.
Yeah. When she was sitting there on the movie set with A-Train, and she threw out some sort of people like you or your kind.
Yeah.
And he even immediately caught it. He was like, "What do you mean your kind?"
Okay, we're talking about the same one. Okay.
Yeah,
because yours is talking to you, but if you look carefully, so she does hint at her hate for ethnic people.
Yeah.
Non-whites.
Yeah. Yeah, there's literally anyone that isn't white.
And you think it's because she's saying it because, oh, you're a failed hero at first, and then there's inflection, and you're just like, and you don't know it 100%.
But you kind of pick up on it.
You kind of pick up on it, with the name Stormfront.
I was gonna say.
But another thing is, if you see she's drinking that fucking drink, if you look closely at the drink, it's got A-Train's name on it.
Yeah.
She's fucking drinking his shit and talking down to him the whole time. I'm just like, oh, she's a real bitch.
Yeah, and she doesn't respond to that. He was just like, "What do you mean your kind or you people?" It was a version of "What do you mean you people?"
It's what a lot of people who are like that do.
Yeah.
What they do, they won't say it out loud.
And because she immediately backtracked some, and she was like, "Oh, just people of your stature." Just with that little look, and then takes a sip of the drink, and I'm just like, "Ouch! That cuts. That cut me." And I'm a fucking Scotch, Irish, German white boy, and that cut me.
Yeah, her performance is fucking awesome.
And she's so funny in like other stuff. Like every other show I've seen her in.
I think that's just the trope of good comedy actors, is they can pull off
comedy
that
actors are fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
Robin Williams is fucking terrifying in
exactly.
Insomniac.
Meanwhile, fucking Gustavo Fring, that's what he'll always be to me.
Gustavo.
I don't care if his name is Edgar in the show. He'll just be Gustavo. It's just sitting there just pulling the strings.
He's gonna be the new villain in Far Cry 6.
That's awesome. He's such
He
a
plays
great
a villain in that fucking Dan Harmon show Community.
Yeah.
It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I just give him every
Plus
villain
Mandalorian.
role.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gustavo, he's not really a villain. He's just doing his job.
He's just a drug dealer.
He's just trying to bring structure to the galaxy because a bunch of Jedi Taliban, decided to blow up the two major bases.
The French Empire is doing the right thing. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying the German Empire did the right thing to an extent. That's what we're getting out of this show.
Yeah, basically he winds up trying to flip the whole script, saying that the Compound V wasn't really from us. It's from the supervillains. That kind of
Right.
thing. He
It's
tries kind of flipping the script some.
No, he's
the-
trying to save face. He's the PR nightmare man.
He's saying
Exactly.
it's the work of a rogue scientist led by Stillwell.
Yeah.
So he's trying to push him past blame at this point.
Yep.
And
Disney.
that's kind of how episode 3 wraps up, because he also sent the 7 after the Kenji and the sister.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
that's how
Miko.
all that shit went down.
Exactly.
And that was a fucked up scene too, because that was the scene where you see her go into the apartment building and just like mindlessly just pump, just killing for the sake of fucking killing.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's just like, God
Well, you gotta
damn,
think
you're an
about it.
evil bitch.
Yeah, you gotta think about her character. We're just now seeing her.
Yeah, we don't learn the Nazi stuff till later, but it's still worth
like,
just talking about.
You got to think about, what has she been up to since 1945?
And
Yeah.
and at the moment where Homelander sees her and just goes, "That's pretty fucking hot."
yeah, because that's what he wanted with Maeve.
Yeah.
Because him and Maeve
And
were
Maeve
together.
wouldn't give it to him.
Because remember, like when we first see Maeve and Homelander do one of their like hostage situations, he
Yep,
fucking
so
fists that dude.
lackadaisical.
He just nonchalantly fists that dude's sternum.
Yeah.
and she's like, "What the fuck?" Because she's blind to it too, or not really blind, just
Complacent.
visual malaise.
Right.
And she's like, "That was supposed to be mine." He's like, "Fine, do. There, you win." Yeah, and it's just like, oh god damn it! They're treating life and death like literally a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's what these people will do.
And it was the flip side. Stormfront took his. He mirrors that comment. He's like, "That was supposed to be mine."
Yeah.
And then she was like, "Well, you snooze, you lose, old man."
Yeah.
She started talking
She's
down to him.
now she's gaslighting him a little bit about who she really is.
Did any of y'all watch the the short film that was released the day before about Butcher and how he was on the run from being framed for Stillwell's murder?
No, I've not seen the short film.
That's a little bit of trivia here for this episode. I didn't see it either, but that's just a little bit of trivia for those that watch the show and are curious.
I might want to see that because I was kind of curious a little bit more on like what Butcher was doing for that last year. So that little short might be pretty cool.
I love that character is just so. He's one of my favorite voices now on screen.
Yes.
That dude needs to be a cartoon villain still.
Man,
I don't think I said on the last episode, but still.
I still want them to bring him back for the Dread Part 2.
That'd be pretty sweet.
What I want
Because he was so good as Dread.
If I still was working at my old day job, I would actually get a audio sample of Butcher going, "You fucking cunt," like that for every time they like tried to text me to be like, "Come in door," be like, "You fucking cunt."
You fucking cunts.
I know. It's so beautiful the way he says it.
I love the memes though for him, just for all that shit. Like one was when you're trying to rake leaves in the fall and the wind just comes and blows them all away. It's like, well, you invisible cunt.
I'm not saying that one. My favorite is we've been watching WandaVision and it was the Family Ties intro or like whatever it was, and it was showing like the photos of like everyone as children growing up, and it showed like baby Vision, and it was so fucking creepy. Someone took that and replaced the baby doing the heat vision from season 1 and just replaced it with the Mind Stone laser.
Yep.
Butcher holding up the baby.
I want to see that too.
I posted that in the Discord memes. I think I posted it in the MCU.
Actually, you know what? I think you're right.
Yeah. Join the Discord if you're not.
It's pretty active. It's fun, y'all.
Oh, yes.
I'm behind on shit.
Rolling into episode 5, protests emerge against Homelander when a video of him killing a civilian surfaces.
Took him that long, huh?
And Stormlander helps Homefront regain popularity.
Stormlander
and Homefront. Wow.
I mean, they do become an item, so.
Just sounds like a lame
That's like the ship name.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, get on the Stormlander. We got to go. Whatever you say, Homefront.
Home slice.
Yeah. Homefront is like a Robin character. He's just like really big into America.
Right.
And has really weird things to say about Korea. Oh, what the fuck's wrong with Homefront? He said South Korea's got soul.
But see what
Stormfront helps Homelander. Sorry, that was a little Johnny G there. Regain popularity as the two enter a sexual relationship.
And by sexual relationship, we mean they're just blowing up buildings while they're fucking doing it.
It's like a Wonder Woman, Superman kind of situation.
Yeah.
We're dropping this motherfucker.
But yeah, the protests emerging against Homelander. Now, was this the episode where he has that mind break for a second? Or was it the next episode? Because to me, that is the best scene in the entire season.
I don't know if it's this episode or the next one. This description isn't really showing if that happens or not.
Yeah, because it does feel like the protests left, or was in 2 episodes at least, right? Like there was 2 episodes worth of protesting.
So it looks like one of the focuses on this one is Butcher wanting to plot his retirement at his Aunt Judy's house after failing to get Becca back.
Yeah, Aunt Judy's house.
Yeah.
You know what? No, I think this is the episode because
where he like imaginary lasers everyone.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. To me, that is my favorite scene in this entire season, and the reason why, and the reason I think it worked so well, is because they have already built up Homelander to be such a horrible character. Someone that is willing to have just a little bit of a mind snap and then, do some fucked up shit. Because I think by this point, we also had the deaf kid superhero tryout.
Oh, yeah. And he's just like, oh, you can't hear? Wow.
Bam! And just like, that was one Chris's CNC was talking about, where he just basically just pops this kid in the fucking ears with both hands and then just starts bleeding out on the floor.
And he talks to his publicist or whoever it is, just like, you let this fucking guy in?
Yeah. He's like, no cripples on the fucking team, you dumbass.
Yeah.
So it's like he's already like been very, very violent already this season.
You talking about the Daredevil character?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that shit. He's like, because it reminds me of a scene from Braveheart, where the king is like, you've seen Braveheart?
Yeah.
All right. You remember the young guy who back talks the king a little bit, and he's like, "Oh, you're part of the war council," and he's just this young guy. Mm-hmm. He's like, I've learned the art of war. He's like, and this old man, the king, Longshanks.
Yeah,
is his name. And basically, his name literally means long shiv.
He's kind of like a Homelander character.
Yeah, he's a fucking monster.
Yeah,
and because kills Mel Gibson.
Yeah,
but
the problem with Scotland is
spoilers.
Yeah. Well, 1992, motherfucker.
Right. The problem with Scotland is that it's full of Scots.
But dude, he grabs this young dude. He's like, "Tell me, what would you do in the current situation?" He throws him out of a fucking window.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's exactly what Homelander did.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, you're good. Yeah. Tell me, what would you in the current situation?" And he just like smacks his brain to putty.
Yeah.
And I love how he just looks at that woman.
Uh-huh.
And the fear in her eyes. She's like, he's like, "You know, I could do that to you. I can say that he did it." And I had to kill him.
Yeah, so it's like we already saw that, and it's like we saw the budding relationship with, Stormfront and everything else. So we've seen him fucking laser down an entire plane in season 1. So they did a very good job at building up his horrible character. So when he's standing there trying to rally this crowd, and they're still turning against him, and you're seeing it build up in his face. Props to the fucking actor. He's amazing. You just see it building up in his face. And then when he starts lasering that entire crowd, I didn't second guess it when I saw it. My mouth just went wide open like, uh-oh.
It's like, of course he did.
Yeah, exactly. My brain just immediately went to, how the fuck is he gonna get out of this? Oh shit. Like, I didn't second guess it at all. And then it snaps right back. And then you just see him just kind of looking around and them all still yelling at him and he hadn't done anything. And I'm like, oh man. But no, to me, that was still just one of the most intense and best written scenes. Mm-hmm. And it's because they spent such a long time building up his character. If they pulled out in season 1, I wouldn't have believed it.
Right.
It's because of how well they built up his character that you believe it for that fucking 10 seconds they're riding you out.
And he can't handle it either.
No, and that's when he just flies the fuck away.
And then Annie and Stormfront kind of, are starting to ruffle feathers at each other.
Yeah, because Stormfront's kind of catching on because that whole boot situation with the Compound V and everything else.
Everybody's kind of starting to become a little suspicious of Annie, even Homelander.
Yeah.
This is where he has the table meeting, where he brings everyone out and
I think
they're
so,
all sitting at the table.
Because
I think it was either this episode or the episode before.
He kind of vaguely threatens everybody.
Except Black Noir.
Oh yeah. This has to be this episode because
he's looking around the table. He's like,
because they send out Black Noir.
Yeah, because he goes to old girl's house.
He goes like, everybody's doing. It's like everybody needs to fucking like step the fuck up. Except you, Black Noir. You're doing great.
There's a meme of that one from Parks and Rec, and it's Leslie Knope as Homelander.
Oh God,
Amy Poehler, and she's like, all of you really need to give 110%. I'm not feeling it from you, except for you. And it's Black Noir like eating some fucking like yogurt.
Yeah.
He's like, but you, I love you. You're doing an amazing job. You're a beautiful sunfish.
I know. I love that dynamic, and I like that we got more Black Noir in this season because of some of the hardest times I laughed were the Black Noir scenes.
Oh, because
it was in this episode too.
Comedy.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
Like in this episode, motherfucker walks up and he like hands like one of the tech girls on the computer, one of the girls in the chair, hands her this note, and she's like, "Oh, you need me to look this person up?" And he just like does this slow nod.
That's all he has to do.
And she's like, "Okay."
And he just does it.
She slowly starts typing it in. I'm not seeing anything, and he just like puts his hand on her shoulder. She's like, I'll keep looking. Like that. I'm just laughing my ass off.
That reminds me of like the Dark Knight Rises.
Yes.
Like when Bane was like talking to that mobster that hired him. And he's like, "But I paid you," and he takes that big ass fucking hand of his and puts it on his shoulder, like right next to his face. And he's like, "Do you feel like you control me, motherfucker?
Do you feel in control right
and it's
now?"
just like,
Black Noir just doesn't.
that's fucking terrifying.
No, Black Noir just doesn't. He just doesn't say anything. He just doesn't leave. He's just kind of like. Just waiting for her to keep going.
I'm
not leaving until you do your job.
Every now and then, it's either yogurt or like he's like doing some kind of puzzle or some shit, or like sharpening his
the
knife.
most mundane thing, and then all of a sudden can just snap right in. And
man,
he's like the fucking
when we first saw him fight,
ninja.
Plays piano in a fucking like lounge and shit like that.
Yes!
Beautifully.
when he fights Kamiko that first time, he rips her from fucking sternum to fucking pelvis.
Yeah.
And you're like, God damn.
Yeah, he is not a force to be reckoned with. He is a bad motherfucker. And Yeah, let's see. They're attacked by a Black Noir, but Butcher has Edgar call him off by threatening to release information on Ryan. And that was a fucking great attack when they're setting up the house with all the explosives and shit.
Oh yeah, they're about to like fuck up old Black Noir.
And then fucking Butcher walks back in there. Where are you black cunt?
And then this is when Maeve is starting to really, turn on Homelander too.
Yeah, she's
We find out she has a female, gay relationship.
Yeah, well, the Homelander did that
Oh yeah.
because during the talk show, he's like, "What about the diversity?" He's like, "Well,
Turns out,
Maeve likes pussy."
Yep.
and then
She's like, excuse me?
of course Maeve's just like, "This is my personal shit. I don't want this in the fucking
And
spotlight
dude, I
or whatever."
love how fast the fucking PR team and the whole thing jump
yeah,
on it because they make
immediately.
LGBTOs, like basically Fruit Loops.
And Homelander's like, "Why do you have a problem with it? This is
weird. Like, I'm
diverse."
surprised they haven't done that yet. Fruit Loops being an official sponsor of the LGBT community.
I feel like Kellogg's actually got in hot water same way like Chick-fil-A did or some shit.
Chick-fil-A got in hot water because they said something about them.
Well, I'm just saying, I don't think Kellogg said
God's
anything
chicken ain't
about
down
them.
with that, man.
But I feel like I could be 100% incorrect, but I feel like I remember Kellogg's being part of like finding out they had donations to like, some organization
Right-wing
that
organization.
people didn't like, and they tried being part of the Don't Buy
Old
groups.
Republican money.
Yeah, like I said, I could be 100% wrong. I just feel like that was among a million of those fucking like Don't Buy lists or
Well, it
whatever.
seems like something they would do nowadays to pander.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, did you know Frankenberry is actually a homosexual?
Yeah, no,
That's essentially what they did with Maeve in this.
Yeah.
And the thing is like, I love that they did this commentary on it because it's like, I have some actual, trans friends, I have some, gay friends. And it's like, they call that shit out immediately. They're like, this pandering is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I got a couple stories on that too, but we can save that off the mic.
Yeah. But it's like, I love that they actually
Yeah, Cap
tackled.
says that stuff off the air. It's a whole different show. Tell us, what was it you said about South Africa, motherfucker?
That it's a beautiful country.
But yeah,
You said a lot of colorful words.
I just thought it was pretty cool how they actually tackled that in this because not a lot of
Well,
properties
she wanted
will
she wanted that shit secret for a
Yeah.
reason, just like they all want.
because it's her personal shit.
But
Exactly.
like they all have their secret identities except for Homelander. But he is Homelander when he takes off the cape. He's Homelander when he wakes up.
But how crazy is that? It's like, we're going to make this inclusive and put it out there out of spite.
Speaking of that, I don't think we
And
were,
they even like changed like the movie script to make that like part of the plot point in the movie.
like I don't think we see Homelander out of his super suit, do we?
I don't think so. I think he's in the costume the whole time.
That is a good point.
That would be terrifying, actually, to see him like in like a plaid shirt and jeans, just working out. Hey,
Yeah.
my name's Bill.
name's Bill.
that of all
Bill
the
the
things,
Destroyer.
man, I think the only time, and it's probably happened within this episode or the next, so we might as well bring it up. I think the only time we see the character of Homelander not in his suit
When he's fucking Stormfront.
is when Doppelganger takes his shape wearing the nightie. Because you
Yeah.
find out that he's seeing Doppelganger, the shapeshifter, playing up the fucking chick that he lasered at the end of season 1.
Yeah.
Which was a mindfuck for like the first scene or two because you don't find out it's Doppelganger until he's like, it's hard to keep this shape. And he's like, I don't care, go back.
But then he becomes, that version of Homelander, and then Homelander looks at him and goes like, I hate everything about you.
No, that was one of those, dear God, moments from Cap 2.
That was
What the fuck is
about
this?
like that moment. I'll put that on par with the moment where he's lasering everybody in his head, like that kind of revelation on his character.
Yeah.
Going like,
Oh yeah,
I
when you watch it for the
fucking
first
hate
time,
you.
you see that like, holy shit.
He is fucked.
I cheered. I was like, yes, do it, because they don't understand. Like there are limits to power, but power is limitless. Okay,
Yeah.
so when you're going to talk down to someone like that as a mob, be prepared. Be prepared that this godlike man is going to laser you.
Oh yeah.
Like we know what he can do. It's like us going up to a president and throwing a rock at him, knowing that 10 to 15, 45 rounds are going right to your fucking chest.
Yeah.
You
At least
blatantly
5
know what's
Secret
going to happen.
Service men are about to tackle your
Yeah,
ass.
yeah, and you're going to end up in Guantanamo fucking Bay.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Deep. The Deep is, getting tired of all
Getting
the
real deep in that
Scientology.
fresco.
He's getting arranged marriages and all that shit. I thought that was a funny scene.
Awesome. Well, dang, my right ear just went out. I don't know if that's tinnitus or just my
Womp.
womp,
Womp.
womp, womp.
Wah.
Okay, yeah, that was probably tinnitus.
Oh, okay. Damn, Cap.
That's what happens when you play rock and roll, kids. Protect your ears.
Like for a second, I thought it was the connection because even my headphone is like a little bit wonky at times. It's my fault. I've stepped on the cord a handful of times because it's a long fucking cord. So it's like for a second, I thought it was that. Then you're like, no, it's tinnitus. I was like, God damn, Cap.
No, it came back.
Well, that's good at least.
Yeah. Yeah, kids, getting older on the air. How about that?
Oh God.
Hell, man, in a month and a half, you'll be seeing me in glasses, man. No shit.
Yeah.
Really? Damn.
I'm already wearing
It's gonna
contacts.
affect my shooting guns and shit. I know that.
I was gonna say you're gonna go full Hank Hill on us now.
Yeah. So tattoos and a not so sunny disposition about grass.
But yeah, Maeve was just like...
Yeah, sorry.
But yeah, Maeve was like trying to, kind of recruit Deep into her insurrection or whatever her plan is against Homelander, going like, I can get you out of this bullshit.
Yeah.
We can get you back on a team.
I like that reminded me though. I like the arranged marriage scene when they're like casting his wife essentially, and there was like this one girl that was like totally into him. It was just like, in so many words, I will fuck you every which way sideways. I love you, and he's just like, when she leaves, he's like, I like her.
Yeah.
And they're like, no. He's like,
We need...
But wait. Don't I get to be? She's great.
These are the same conversations agents are having with Bret Michaels before they tape their reality shows. Like, I like her. No. We need somebody wholesome to sell a TV show.
We need someone kind of like Starlight, but you fucked that up.
Bad. And this is also when Annie discovers Stormfront has been in contact with Edgar regarding the Sage Grove Psychiatric Hospital, which we find out that place is basically the breeding ground for the supervillains and
it's
the testing
ground.
facility.
Yeah, to see what happens if you give
Adults.
V to adults, and it doesn't work out well because some of them turn into fucking psychos.
Yeah,
And I love that. What's his name? Lamplighter is chilling the hotel all the time.
Yeah, that's where you
Iceman.
find out he is.
Iceman.
Yeah, that's where you find out where he's been hanging out, and he had an interesting story arc heading into the last couple episodes too.
Because the whole thing, the whole reasons Lamplighter is out of the picture is because he was sent to do a job, and the job went south very quickly.
Yeah,
he kills old girls' kids. Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh fuck, man, he must be a real piece of shit. Mm-hmm.
Which actually, let's go ahead and so we let's talk about that real quick because that's the next episode, episode 6. So by that point, they bust in, they find out it's Lamplighter, and Lamplighter is talking shit to Frenchie.
Yeah, he's like, why didn't you stop me, you piece of shit? Mm-hmm. And like even him stops what he's doing. He's like, whoa, bro, what the fuck you mean?
Mm-hmm. He's like, there's some shit you haven't been telling us.
Yeah, no, his best friend was ODing, so he had to stop that shit.
And I think Frenchie actually had one of the second best line in this season when he was like when Eminem was just like, damn dude, why didn't you tell us that all this time ago? We would have like dropped it. And he was just like, what makes you think I wanted you to drop it?
Yeah,
it was like, it showed like how much he genuinely cared about both situations, and he's just like, I had to make a choice, but I don't deserve to be let off the hook
and then he mixes DMT and LSD and a bunch of other shit together to make a bomb.
I know, I thought that was fucking great.
And that is one hell of a drug cocktail.
And we forgot to mention it, but my second favorite kind of line and scene in there, and it made me choke up first time I saw it, mainly because I think they just have such a good chemistry together, was when Starlight and Hughie were talking in the middle of that field.
Oh, the van flips?
No, not yet. When they were talking in the field, and he was like, you saved me. And she was like, when? He's like, when we went bowling. She's like, I didn't do anything. We just talked. He goes, yeah, I know. And it's like, it was leading up to like that really good moment of like, maybe them hugging or, reconnecting, because it's like he hit on like such a heartfelt moment, and she was even feeling it. And he was like, so, what about it? She goes, well, I don't owe you anything. Yeah. And just turns around and walks away. It's just like,
damn.
Fuck. Yeah. It's like that hit me a little. I was just like, God damn, that's a line right there.
Yeah. Because it was so tender in the first season.
Yeah. It was, and it was even tender leading up to that. You're just like, oh, it's starting up again. It's coming back. And then she was just basically like, no, you don't deserve it. And just walks away.
Oh, you
It's
gotta
just
remember, like, I think, was it Butcher standing there with him?
no, Butcher wasn't around.
No, who was with him?
No one. It was just the two of them. And that's what made it even more, because it was like,
Yeah,
it was
because
the
right
two of
after
them
that,
connecting.
the guy falls from the sky.
Yeah, because
he goes fucking
that's when
apeshit.
Hughie was
Yeah.
trying to tell her about like the secrets of Compound V.
Yeah.
Like she knew about Compound V, but he was like trying to tell her even more about it, and she was just like, okay, but so what? What am I supposed to do? He's like, help? She's like, why? He goes, what, isn't it your job?
Yeah.
She's like, well, I don't owe you anything, and just walks away. It's just like, fuck.
It's also like, so Stormfront shows up,
Yeah.
and she goes ape.
But you find out a lot of backstory on Stormfront in this episode too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is when the remaining boys try to find out what was her original name.
Oh Lord, I forget.
Ingrid.
No, her original superhero name, because they show up at that old lady's house, and she's like, why do you even mention that name? I promised to stay quiet.
Because she was we find out she was the first successful Compound V
Her
subject.
husband helped create it.
Exactly.
And her husband was like part of the Nazi regime.
He was
one
he
of
was
the
like best
offshoots.
friends with like
Himmler.
Himmler and
Joseph Mengele and all
Mengele,
that.
Yeah.
All those experiments and all
He's
that
like,
shit.
and she like tells him, she's like, you are like Homelander, you are the perfect. What we strive for, motherfucker. You're the top tier. You know?
Yeah, and that was weird when she started like laying all that shit on him. It's like there were so many comparisons and allegories to like
blonde hair, blue eyed, tall, muscular, in shape, all powerful, all knowing. And here's what I love. This is what the redeeming quality of fucking Homelander is. He's like, I may be an asshole.
Yeah.
I may be a monster.
I may be a rapist.
god and sexual assaulter. I may be a rapist. I may be all this. But I ain't a fucking Nazi.
I know.
I just love that line so much. He's like, I'm a lot of goddamn things, but I ain't a fucking Nazi, bitch.
I will kill anybody just because they made me mad.
And that,
Regardless.
you can say that right there is like a great an American quality.
yeah, an American
I'm
quality
a lot
at
of
least.
fucking things, bitch, but I'm an American first. I ain't a fucking Nazi.
Yeah, especially because it's
I
like
could be all these terrible things, but I'll be goddamn if I'm a Nazi.
because that is the weird thing about Homelander, because you even see it again. He is all those things except racist.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
That is the weird fucking thing.
Because he
It feels because again with someone
Well, the
that
idea
is
of equality
that
is different for
horrible,
him.
it feels like that would just tie in. That'd be just the icing on the cake.
the idea for equality is different for him.
Yeah.
He believes everyone is equal and he's above.
Uh-huh.
But he still sees everyone equal.
But technically still below him.
But still below him. Right. He's like a billionaire.
Yeah. He's honestly at this point he's just like, I don't give a fuck. I'm still better than you anyway.
basically. Then we find out A-Train gets lured into the church of the collective.
Thanks to
Yeah,
the deep.
because he's trying to find
He's all
redemption.
sad and shit.
Yeah, because he's kind of where the deep is, and he's just kind of going like, "Oh my, am I on the same level with this fucking guy now? Oh no, I'm a
You are.
B-lister. I got to do stupid reality TV shows too."
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to join a cult.
Yep.
But Stormfront, she shows up at the lab. And
Yeah.
starts just destroying motherfuckers.
Lamplighter
Yeah, and she just fucking loses her shit.
starts
And,
killing everyone. She's like, I had to kill 20 of these fucking people that got out in the fucking yard. What is going on?
Yeah, you let the dogs loose, motherfucker.
Yeah.
But this episode also is a good show of what happens with Butcher and the people he's with. Mm-hmm. Because after the van flips over,
Yes.
and Hughie gets injured, well, now they got to drag him away because Stormfront's coming.
Yeah.
We got to get the fuck out of here. So they stop a car. Well, they have to kill the guy who owns the car.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yes.
And she kills him. She does. Mm-hmm. She facilitates that murder perfectly.
Yep.
And then Butcher kind of gives her this look like,
She's like, do not.
he's like, oh, you're just like one of us, bitch.
Yeah.
Like you're a fucking cold-blooded killer just like Homelander. Mm-hmm. And like it's that smug sense which I didn't like about Butcher.
Yeah.
But he was right.
He was. And that was.
And she has that fucking look on her face like, I swear to God, I'm going to drain the energy out of this car and snap your spine.
Basically.
And yeah, so I thought this was a good one, especially for moving the plot along and kind of giving everyone a little bit of an emotional breath, because it showed the backstory of Mallory, you know, and what happened with her, Frenchie,
Yeah, well, she was
Lamplighter.
blackmailing fucking Supes. which was stupid of her.
Yeah, she was blackmailing Lamplighter. That's what all that happened.
That's a fucking terrible idea. At any point, he could have lit that whole place on fire right there.
All these episodes are just stacked with really good storytelling. Like you have all these characters, but everyone's story is paced really well on these hour-long episodes.
Go back to the
too.
Insane Asylum. How grossed out were you when you realized that tentacle dude, it was his dick the whole time?
Oh yeah, that was fucking weird.
It's just one of those. That wasn't even the weirdest thing about this show, though. That's one of those where it's kind of like, of course.
And this is when we get probably the first cliffhanger, because we never get to revisit this again, really. Unstable patient Sydney escapes Sage Grove.
Yeah, she'll be probably like that terrorist guy from next season.
Because we basically might as well talk about it now. We find out that she has the ability of basically just exploding people.
Yeah.
Much like the other person.
And that's why it confused me.
And that's what happens at the very end of the episode, right? Where they're all in the courtroom.
Yeah, that's the end of the season.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but no. So and that's why that scene confused me a little bit, is because that girl had the power. Sydney, the one that escaped the Insane Asylum, basically had the power of just being able to look at you and just fucking explode your fucking
Kind
head.
of like Carrie White.
Yeah. So when you see her doing like the hitchhiking thing, and then like the car drives by and then just like slowly stops, you're just like, oh, you bitch. But yeah, and then you see her drive off. So again, I thought that was an interesting thing. We never really see her character again, but that we do find out two people have that power, and it was a very good misdirect in the moment.
Yeah, because hers, but the other one, her is very specific.
Yes.
Not full body. Hers is the head popper.
Oh yeah, you're right. Sydney did full body.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. She basically obliterated motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Turned them into mist.
So I would love to
trained them.
I'm kind of I'm kind of curious what would happen if Homelander was going against them. See if they's vulnerable to that kind of thing.
So we don't really. We don't really know if Homelander
think
has mental powers. Well, I guess we kind of does.
Well, he's basically Superman, where you could shoot the motherfucker and he doesn't feel it.
Yeah.
But
I'm
I'm
saying,
curious
like,
about
using
an
that power.
inside thing.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious, like if she even tries that, will he just like get like a headache?
Yeah.
Or his nose will start to bleed, and he'll just look at her like, you fucking bitch. You know what I'm saying? And just like smash her.
Yeah, that would be actually that would be kind of funny, where if just like he kind of like burped and then like spat a little blood and was just like, the fuck did you do?
Yeah.
No, this is a long, drawn-out thing where he's just like retching blood and vomit afterwards.
That's just what Cap wants to see, because he wants to see this motherfucker.
That's
get
why we're
fucked up.
invested in the show. We want to see this dude get his comeuppance.
I would look like I would hope in season 3 she teams up. They both team up with Butcher. And they have to stop Homelander, and they try that shit, and he just rips old girl in half.
Yeah.
Just in front of God and everybody. He just looks at Head Popper. He's like, don't you even fucking do it. Yeah.
And in episode 7, we've got Congresswoman Victoria Newman scheduling a new hearing against Vaught, with Lamplighter as the chief witness. And after Vaught uncovers Annie's betrayal, Hughie convinces Lamplighter to join him in the rescue attempt, which results in the latter immortalizing himself. And that, I did not see that coming. So when Hughie and Lamplighter get into the Seven's headquarters, basically the Justice League Tower.
Yeah. Disney.
No, that's not Disney. That's Warner Brothers.
They can hear you.
I didn't say Avengers Tower.
True.
I said the Justice League.
I was picturing Elizabeth Shue as Kathleen Kennedy.
She's not a bitch. Elizabeth Shue is a fucking icon. She was in Karate Kid.
But yeah, so he convinces them to come in, and then he looks at the statue and he's like, they already took me down? And I'm like, yeah, no shit. Oh yeah, and I also thought it was funny.
You killed 2 kids.
Yeah. And I also thought it was funny that when they've got basically Lamplighter in the witness protection program, or the boys' version of witness protection program, they leave Hughie there and they're like, just sit here and watch porn with them. And like all the fucking like superhero porn titles were hilarious.
I forgot about this. Do you remember any of them?
Oh god, all I remember is he asked if he wanted to see one of them that had a parody of Starlight, and he was like, no, I'm good.
Nope.
Oh, it was the Deep in Starlight. That's why it was fucked up. And he was like, no, I'm good.
Poor taste, bro. But yeah,
yeah, and then the two of them run in there. He's like, oh, they got rid of me? And then he like walks in the middle of the fucking room and sets himself on fucking fire. And it's just like, really? You're gonna do that?
He was a sad sack, man.
Yeah, he was.
But Maeve kind of helps Starlight escape afterwards, right?
Yeah, then it becomes like skip a few things, but when they get to Boy,
Yeah.
so basically you've stolen.
Because this entire time, they hadn't really mentioned in the descriptions, but this entire time, the mom, Butcher, and the child have all been plotting to get out of the, fenced-in community, their version of the Hex.
I was going to say.
But I was just, like, the whole time, I'm just thinking, what is your contingency plan?
Yeah.
To, like, dip the fuck out? Like
That was my thought, too.
Like, he's going to hear you from fucking 100 miles away. And when he gets there, it's not going to be great. It's not going to be like last time where he lets you fucking live.
No, it's not going to be great.
He
not
gave
at
you,
all.
That's God's grace letting you fucking live to begin with. It's like, God damn, dude.
That's what they say in the last episode, where it's like, he will not let this go.
Yeah. But, Stormfront shows the fuck up. Mm-hmm. And I just love this fight.
Yeah.
Before Maeve and Starlight and Kimiko go at it, Black Noir gets it.
Yeah.
She's like, he's allergic to peanuts.
Yeah.
He's allergic to tree nuts. And like, she smacks him in the mouth with that fucking thing of peanuts. I'm just like, that was it. That was the big fuck.
That's his kryptonite.
I love that.
Tree nuts. Who would have thought? Burning, shooting, full fucking regalia of like Rasputin's type killings.
Yes.
And you're just like, tree nuts did him in, huh?
Also,
Damn.
What a bitch.
What a bitch.
And I also thought it was
Kind of like when you find out James Gandolfini died because of eating spaghetti. Exactly. That's what did him. That was his kryptonite.
And I
He
thought
ate Big Ziti for years.
I thought a real tense moment throughout these episodes that we just didn't touch on. I was kind of getting to the wrap up. This is second to the last episode, so I know they covered more of this. But when Homelander kept showing up, and then he started bringing Stormfront to the house.
This is your
and
new mommy.
Yeah, and then they kind of like started replacing the mom, kind of, and it's just like, ooh, this is getting tense and uncomfortable,
bueno.
and ooh. And then the kid Homelander talking to the biological mom and being like, "Hey, he ought to see the city. There is that Disneyland ripoff with my face all over it. I'm sure he'd love to see that.
You know what? I think new mom will probably enjoy this too.
Yeah." And she's like, no. And he goes, "Yeah, about that." And then just fucking flies off with the kid. And then sure enough, like the next time we see him, he's fucking yelling at his mom, "You lied to me. You've kept me hidden." And like all of a sudden turning the tables on mom. And it's just like, oh my God, this motherfucker's insane.
He gaslighted his boy.
Yeah.
Yep. Of course he did, because he's going to do everything to get under whoever made him mad. He's going to try everything to get under their skin.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And meanwhile, Homelander and Stormfront are still, by that point, that's what led up to this episode, is the two of them manipulating Ryan, which was the kid, to leaving Becca, which was the mom. And A-Train is growing more suspicious of the Church of the Collective, and Maeve and Lana break up their own former falling out to save the airliner.
Yep.
Yeah, is it this episode where Ryan is, gets to experience being a celebrity child or whatever? And then does he just kind of like, he starts uncomfortable?
Yeah, he starts freaking out. You think it's setting it up. You think he's going to have a super moment and kind of like fuck up the area, but instead he's just kind of having like sensory overload from
just like
everyone kind of descending on Homelander.
It's like me watching this show. We both had that moment where we're just like, I don't like this.
Yeah, he was having a big I don't like this moment. But again, very few props, but props to Homelander and kind of showing that weird morality layer. As soon as he caught wind of it, nothing else mattered. He was like, okay, I'm getting you out of here. And just immediately beeline to the door and was just telling everyone, please back up, please back the fuck up. And then flies away. So that was just one of those weird moments of just like
him being a dad.
Yeah, nothing else mattered. His boy's not feeling it. It's time to go.
That's my boy. That's my boy.
And he does have a few of those "that's my boy" moments, and it's very odd. But it always gets undercut with the weird, creepy. He's just like, "I love you, son," and then he just kind of smiles at him. He's like, "Say it back."
Yeah.
And it's just like, ooh, that's...
You can't have the tender moment for long.
Yeah, no, it always made my skin crawl every time he was just like, "Say it back." Like, no, you don't force a kid to do that. That's fucking weird.
I'm just picking up Homelander like trying to mow a lawn. and be like Hank Hill for a minute, and he'd be like, "Man, fuck this," and it's like, wow, like the whole Hank Hill thing. Why would anyone do drugs when they could just mow a lawn? And it's like, that's why, Hank. Because they're tired of mowing fucking lawn.
Except his was, why would anyone mow a lawn when you have heat vision?
Yeah. to do all of this.
He just fucking pulls a Wanda, Scarlet Witch thing and just kind of just, and all the grass is just like, shoo.
Nobody has that kind of power in this series.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Next season, they're thinking about, I think, that guy, Jensen Ackles, is going to be in it. He'll be Boy Scout or whatever the fuck his name is.
Is he kind of like a creator type or whatever?
He's kind of like, he's kind of like Homelander, but he's like a Robin-esque. Mm. He's kind of like Captain America and Robin and all put together.
Like Robin Hood or
Robin.
Or like Batman Robin.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And this is another one of my favorite scenes happens in this episode because it's the hearing. And even though Lamplighter offed himself, Butcher was able to strong arm Vagabond, which he was a fucking intense character. You didn't get a lot of him, but his lines.
Yeah, that's the only one Homelander won't talk down to.
Yeah. Because he sees him basically as dad.
Yeah. That's fucking...
His creator.
What was the actor that played him? Wasn't he also in Breaking Bad? Or am I thinking of somebody else?
But
yeah, so he comes rolling into the hearing and I'm like intense, like, because I actually like courtroom stuff, like actual like real life courtroom things. Like I can sit there and listen to hearings and things. So I'm just like, oh fuck.
You were the guy that watched the Casey Anthony trial and all that shit.
I would have, yeah. So it's like, you know,
okay, quit second. I got to say this. I was at work when that fucking verdict came out in the middle of the afternoon.
Yeah,
I remember.
My buddy, my best fucking friend, calls me and says, "Hey man, we won." What the fuck did you just say to me, bro? We what's this we shit? He was pulling for her the whole fucking time. I'm just like, you're a goddamn monster, dude.
Wow.
He's like, but she's so fucking hot.
I knew it.
What the fuck?
Oh god, I know people like that too.
I think he was. I know he.
No, it's the guy.
I think he was being funny. But it's just like
you're still not sure.
It's not black and white.
It's not black and white, man. I knew a couple of those guys too. But John Doman is the actor's name, and he played the police commissioner in The Wire.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me see his face.
He looks just like Hank from Breaking Bad.
But yeah, so he comes strolling on in right as he's about to testify. Boom.
Yep.
Head gone. And all of a sudden, it turns into fucking whack-a-mole, but with different fucking heads.
Pandemonium.
Dude, I'm like sitting here going like, okay, whose dream sequence is this? Yeah. Okay, whose dream sequence is this? And then about a minute into just heads fucking exploding like water balloons, I'm going, this isn't a dream sequence.
No, this is
real life. Who the fuck is... What?
And then it just doesn't stop.
Yeah, no. And that's kind of how they just end that episode. And I'm just like... And again... This is probably like, you know, this is like maybe mid-afternoon the next day kind of shit, because again, I watched it in the weekend. And it's like, I get to that, and because it was like maybe 11 o'clock at night. I'm fucking tired. I've been watching this show all god day. Yeah. And they end on this, and I'm just like, I'm going to save at least one episode for tomorrow. That way I've at least got something to watch tomorrow. That's how they end it, and I'm like,
you can't end it there.
Fuck, I'm watching the last episode now. So then that rolls in. Episode 8, What I Know. Learning from Becca about Ryan's capture, Butcher makes a deal with Edgar to help Vaught reclaim him at Homelander's cabin. And yeah, so that's basically when
this
shit
was
starts
the showdown.
going down.
This is the showdown at the OK Corral.
Yeah,
basically, this was the last stand.
Yeah. Yeah, essentially this episode was just one huge fucking fight scene.
It was awesome.
Yeah, Acts 1 and 2 were a fight scene, and then Act 3 was, what do we do now?
We're gonna fight this bitch to the fucking dirt, man.
Basically.
I love it. It was a really cool like fight scene.
Yeah.
Like, you know, men, women, blah blah blah. Well, all that aside, that was a very well done fight scene.
Oh, absolutely.
Because when she like backhands Kimiko, I was like, fuck. And then Maeve just, you know, gives her like fucking haymaker.
Yeah.
Because she's almost up there. She's up there with Stormfront with the strength and everything. But I was just like, God.
But that's not what ends Stormfront though.
No. But I liked that fight. That ending fight with Maeve, Stormfront, Starlight, and Kimiko.
Yeah.
I love that fight because this came out in, last year, October 2020. It came out then, so a good maybe year or two after like Endgame. Okay? And in Endgame, we had that scene where all the women teamed down. It was like, Thanos says something like, who are you to take me alone? And then you hear like, fucking Captain Marvel, she's not alone. And then like all the girls show
like
up.
all the other fucking side characters just show up at once.
Yeah, and then they all, get their little girl power moment.
They basically play hot potato with Spider-Man.
Yeah. So it's like, but all the girls show up, for one scene, and they all kick ass on Thanos for a minute, and then it breaks away. And it's like, even my girl at the time was just like, that was my least favorite scene in the movie. She's like, I would have rather seen them all just have their own moments, not have like this Powerpuff Girls team up thing. And I was just like, okay, whatever. I thought it was cool.
I'd rather see the Powerpuff Girls team up with Samurai Jack.
Yeah.
But then I saw this, and then it made sense to me.
Well,
because
it's more
to
natural.
me,
It's more natural for this one because they're all mainstays.
Yeah.
There's only one mainstay in that whole fight scene in Endgame, and it's Captain Marvel, and she only had one movie.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And she's not in anything else.
Yeah, and Black Widow really didn't even get to do much because she doesn't have powers. She's just an assassin.
Fucking dead.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. She went. Well, okay. Then I'm thinking of it was the one where Black Widow was in it too. Then it must have been Infinity War.
Yeah.
They had an Infinity War moment. But yeah. But then seeing that scene, it made sense. I was like, oh, that's how you do a fucking girl power moment. That's without it being so. It wasn't in your face, but it was shown by Hughie about to go in, examining it, and then just kind of taking that
they're
step
all
back.
super powered assholes. I can't wait to.
Yeah, so it was just kind of funny how they just kind of like looked at it being like, well, all right, the girls fucking kick some ass.
I'm just gonna hang back and let y'all do y'all's thing.
I will say though, one of the biggest heart-wrenching moments in that episode though was when Butcher and Becca were trying to drive off.
Oh yeah.
And that fucking car flips, and you're like, those are regular humans in that car.
Yeah.
That's another Homelander like, fuck.
Yeah. And it's like that, and that wound up being the end of Becca. And it was just like, fuck. And it's like, and that got me too, because it's like Butcher tried so hard that entire time. That's all he wanted back was Becca. And then bam. It's like, motherfuck. Yeah, so it's like that didn't end well with me. I'm like sitting here going, I was like, I don't like this. I don't like that she's gone.
Stormfront was kind of responsible for that too, right?
Yeah, it's because she flipped the fucking car.
Yeah, and then the kid fucking cripples her.
Yeah, so they all make their way out to the woods, and yeah, so it's just like that was cool. At first, I was a little annoyed because I wish they had shown a little bit more, but I guess they just wanted to really hype up the power of just that big white light, and it's like, and it didn't cause that interesting dynamic because it's like that's how Becca died, but at the same time that's also how Stormfront gets her comeuppance, even though she doesn't fully die. I heard that she's not dead.
Yeah.
She just got incapacitated.
So we're gonna get Mecha fucking Stormfront next season.
I think she'll heal.
Yeah, I mean that was the rumors because they maybe about a month or so ago they released like a promo of like all the it was kind of like a weird Office scenario where the actors were playing their boys' characters, but they were talking about it in third person, like they know you're watching a show.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was just like, Hughie is talking, about, oh yeah, well, me and the guys had to run and go do this, and then do this, that, and the other. And then, Frenchie would pop in. Oh, it was a fucking mess, man. And shit like that. So it was like, they're playing their characters, giving you a recap, and Stormfront was in it, kind of giving the idea of, look, I'm going to be back. That kind of thing.
That's true.
Because at the very end, Butcher crashes the stream or whatever, and he's like, they're all just a bunch of fucking cunts. And then the promo ends.
But then Hughie winds up. I might be getting.
Yeah, we're kind of basically to the wrap up on this episode because they just had real big fight scene. Then the kid, flashlights, fucking Stormfront and Becca.
And everybody kind of gets their, not their comeuppance, but everybody gets Stormfront's Nazi footage is leaked and Homelander's plane footage, or is used against him. It's not leaked, but Maeve's like, I got something on you.
And I thought that was a great moment because just Homelander covered in blood, just like seeing Stormfront on the ground, knowing his kid just did that. And his kid just walked to Butcher.
Yeah. He says, fuck you, Dad.
Yeah. And then Maeve is holding up the phone with the footage. And he's just like, he's assessing everything. And then that's basically just no other way to describe it, a Joker laugh.
And
like, it just that mind break, just like...
And he's deciding whether or not to fucking like wipe out everybody, probably too.
Yeah,
It's
because
like,
again,
I could just end this right here and now.
Yeah, he's sitting here going, he's like, I can laser every one of you motherfuckers right here, right now, take my kid against his will, and go on about my fucking day.
But it's just like, maybe I should just fly up to the moon and rub one out and then think it over.
Like any man does. When you get annoyed, you just go away for a minute, rub one out, and think it over and reassess.
This is what I do before big decisions.
I need to talk to the boys.
me get a conference together.
Oh, it's like you ever see Letterkenny when he starts talking shit to that dude? He's like, "You need to mix a batch there, bud."
That's a good one.
Play like a 5-on-1.
I've still only seen those first 2 episodes.
That's all you need because it's so fucking good.
I've seen those first 2 episodes like a dozen times, but I haven't finished it from there.
Oh my god, it's so funny.
Yeah, so
that's essentially what happens at the end of that one. Other than
and then,
Hughie getting a job from with the CIA, or Ryan gets taken by the CIA.
There's a few little wrap-up things. So yeah, Ryan gets taken by the CIA, set up by Butcher, because he's just like, look, you guys are going to be able to handle this better than I can. Yeah, take care of this shit. And then Hughie gets a job with Newman's character, which was the lawyer chick. She's now trying to get into politics, in which you find out that she was pulling the strings of the hearings getting canceled and redone. Then she talks with the guy from the church, tries to get a tax break with him. And then as soon as they feel like they reach some sort of a deal or agreement, she hangs up the phone with him. He hangs up the phone. His head fucking explodes. And it cuts to the outside of his place, and it's the fucking Newman character. And I'm like, oh,
yeah, she's a kingmaker. She manipulates certain aspects to create a hierarchy.
Yep. And you find out that she was the one causing all the heads to bust in the courtroom.
Yeah.
She did not want Wheels to fucking talk.
Yeah, because like another part of that is, and the whole Homelander thing, I don't think she can drop Homelander.
No, she probably couldn't.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I think she's creating a hierarchy for him to just bow out, because that's the only way Homelander's going to go. Is to bow out.
Yeah.
Not stick around.
But how do you get somebody like that to bow out?
Shame.
Well, what do you do with somebody who has no shame?
Well, no, you create the shame. You don't, like, he's not going to give a fuck.
Well, I guess
but like
find
his whole idea, because he's a narcissist asshole, is his image.
That's true.
And if you destroy that,
public
patriot image, with a flag as a cape, blah blah blah. Yeah, he'll back down.
You attack his ego.
Yeah, and 2 things could happen. He'll just bow out. And that'll be it. Or he goes nuts.
That's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah, you hope he goes nuts, because the show really needs to progress.
If you're going to write, if you're going to continue the series, you write a whole season around that shit.
Yeah.
And then fucking A-Train rejoins the 7, but the Deep's still in Scientology.
Yeah, I thought that was so funny. A-Train didn't believe in that shit much at all. Was just playing the role. And then they're just like, yeah, you can get back in, but the Deep, you still need some help. And he's like, what? What? Excuse me.
And we didn't touch on this because I forget what episode it was, where he's riding the fucking whale trying to attack.
Ain't it episode 1 of season 2?
Yeah, it was early on. Yeah, he's like riding the whale and
he's
shit.
all happy and shit. He's like, I'm participating. I'm
Where he's like
ass.
part of a mission and shit like that. But then Butch is just like ramming speed. Boom!
And it's just like,
rips a fucking endangered whale in half.
Yeah, that's when Hughie has a little bit of his fucking like breakdown, because he's just sitting in that whale just like,
it's like, this is happening. It's like, this just happened. And it's also one of those things you feel that with him in the show, going like, and where I'm having that moment again where it's like, this fucking TV show, now this guy's just trapped in a whale after all this other shit.
You gotta think about where his life has gone. Like 3 months ago, he was working at a fucking electronics place.
Yeah.
And
fast forward a year or so later.
Not even that. Like, if you think about the time span, it's not
They did do a time jump between season 1 and 2.
Yeah. But like, let's give me conservative and say it's a year.
Yeah.
What the fuck? You were working at an electronics store?
Yeah.
I'm inside a whale. Jesus.
There's guts and fucking like
Viscera.
it's a sperm whale, so there's plenty of that.
There's dead fucking krill everywhere.
Dead krill everywhere.
And I love the fact that like the deep is like really sad that the whale gets cut in half.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because the
He
fish.
talks to them. He's like, "Well, Al back there, you got to hear some of these stories. Shut the fuck
Fuck
up.
up.
I don't give a fuck about
Aquaman,
your fish."
you lame ass Aquaman."
Like, he has a real affinity with his fish buddies.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck all these humans. It's like, fuck, human women and fuck human people and shit like that. These are my boys.
Yeah.
Until he works, he's that dolphin.
Yeah.
Goes flying out the fucking windshield doing 80. Gary.
Well, can we think of any other little plot points that we need that we
be a
didn't run
Nazi.
over?
Do we know when
Don't be a
season?
fucking Nazi.
Yeah. Do we know when season 3 is supposed to start?
Of course, because of COVID and shit, that knocked the production schedule back. I would guess maybe the end of the year, maybe the start of next year.
Yeah, because they ran these episodes during the fall of 2020.
Yeah, and that was with a regular shooting schedule and everything. At least shut down for about a good 6-7 months in Hollywood.
Man, they
for
get
most
Tom Cruise on that
productions.
motherfucker who keep him in
I
shape.
know it. Nobody will motivate a set better than that guy.
Yeah, I know, really. Yeah,
That's why it's
so
called Tom Cruise, not Tom Canoe.
not Thomas Mapother the Fourth. Tom fucking Cruise.
So yeah, I'm willing to bet we'll probably get it maybe early next year, mid next year. I think they'll probably start shooting this. I would assume in the next few months.
Yeah, talking about it's kind of got me curious to revisit it again.
It's a good show, man. I was thoroughly impressed with it.
Now that I know, now that I'm prepared for everything,
Now you know how fucked up it's gonna be.
I wonder if it's going to be an easier watch again.
Mikey still hasn't seen it, so that at least gives us a chance to maybe rewatch it some, get him to watch it.
There you go.
Well, hell yeah. So if we can't really think of much more we want to talk on this show, aside from the fact that it's fucking great, we can't wait for season 3.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I guess
I'm
on this
stoked.
episode of the Couch Potatoes, I've been Alex.
This has been Cap.
And Chris, do you have any final thoughts for us?
I'm a lot of things in this world, fellas. I'm a lot of things. A lot of things. I'll be goddamn if I'm a fucking Nazi.